like I think about my kids now. My kids are homeschooled, and so they kind of do whatever the heck they want, you know? And so they really do get to live that life where when I was a kid, I had to follow this like specific routine and show up to school a certain time, get home from school. And we were poor, so I had to think about food and what we were going to eat and all this kind of stuff. And so it was more of like a restricted childhood, where my kids now, they kind of just live based on how they feel in their intuition. And so I almost wonder, you know, is this structure in the modern world created a lot of these challenges that we're seeing manifest in children today, or even adults that act like children. Yeah. But it's because they've had such a structured childhood and they can't actually operate in the way that they were designed by God.
Yeah. And it's very limiting, right? Yeah. And there's benefits and drawbacks to both, right? Like I homeschool my 6-year-old, and part of me is like, I ought to just send you to school because you have got to learn to, you know, that there are time frames on things or whatever, you know, it isn't all just free willy-nilly, you know, just get to it when you get to it, you know, that's always a threat. I'm going to send you to school. I'm going to make your teacher tell you what to do. Yeah. But yes. And there's benefits to learning that discipline and that structure, right? I mean, there's benefits and drawbacks to everything in life. But I think that the whole point is, again, it's a deconditioning to return back to our sole purpose and then live from there and create from there.
Yeah. So is deconditioning opposite from awareness, or is that the same thing, would you say?
Deconditioning is like the undoing. Awareness is just like the observation. Okay. I think.
All right.
That's what when you say that, that's what I think.
Do you have to be aware to be able to decondition, or no? I would think you would.
I think so, because
do you guys mind if I weigh in on this?
Yeah, please
do.
Let's
hear it.
Sorry, I don't normally jump in, but what Altee's talking about, like, literally changed my life.
This is the spirit of Blake, the Holy Spirit of Blake. You can't see him.
The voice has spoken.
This is your confirmation.
The mighty Oz from behind the curtain.
Small voice.
Yeah.
No, but this understanding this human design, the awareness, I think it's important to be aware if you want to decondition. Like the same thing, if you're not aware that the media is conditioning you to think and walk a certain way, like you'll never decondition it. So I think that's step one.
Yep.
But this alone has changed me and Mallory's marriage. Like in the last 2 to 3 months when Altee came over to our house and did this, and I was a manifester, and it was explained like, Brandon knows, and like if you grew up LDS, I had a patriarchal blessing when I was a kid. And it was special, but if you look at it and go back and read it, it could be anybody. You just take my name out, it could be anybody that it's talking about. But this, when I read the manifester portion of the human design, at age 34, I was like crumpled on the ground, crying, sobbing, because it struck home to me so deeply. Mm-hmm. But I had 34 years of experience to kind of look back on it, and I've spent so much of my adult life deconditioning how I was raised and thought. And manifestors are a little bit special. Like we like to cause waves and stuff, but
we're here to agitate so we can think of new ways to do things.
But like when I look at Jeff,
break it so you can fix it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But when I look at Jeff and Brandon, I see two people that understand this about themselves. And you're not just living in alignment, you're amplifying that alignment like to the fullest, and it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah. And so like now that I'm like aligning to mine, now I can start amplifying that. So that's just kind of how I see it. I had to peel back so many layers on my thing that to decondition that, and then
I love it.
Yeah, really good.
And it really is about coming to coming to a place of acceptance of who you are. You know, and so when it's like, it almost gives you permission to live that life of alignment and not how you thought you were supposed to be, and you aren't, you know, because when we were talking about this with Blake, it was like there was so many struggles with like his parents, and he just came off as this unruly child, but it was like, that's literally how he was created to be. And so if, you know, human design was in his parents' hands, it would have been helpful in raising him. And that's why I think it's so important for our kids to start understanding these things, to support them in developing their gifts and talents, and then teaching them the other side of that. And I think that, you know, living a life that isn't aligned, that's where addictions come in, because we're trying to escape the way that we feel because we don't feel good enough. We don't feel right. We're trying to alter our state of being. And so then we look for a replacement of that, because if we are in a place of harmony and peace, we don't want to alter that.